Ever considered yourself smarter than others in a room, or underestimated someone else's abilities? If so, you might be under the influence of the Dunning-Kruger effect. This fascinating psychological phenomenon is a cognitive bias where individuals with lower abilities in a certain area perceive themselves as more competent than they actually are. On the flip side, individuals with high competence often underestimate their abilities, thinking they know less than they actually do. This intriguing illusion of confidence was named after two social psychologists, David Dunning and Justin Kruger. In their groundbreaking research, they found that those with limited knowledge in a field are not aware of just how deficient their expertise might be. In contrast, those who are truly proficient in that same field often downplay their knowledge, incorrectly assuming others must have an equivalent understanding. This cognitive bias leads to an inflated self-assessment among the less competent due to their inability to recognize their own lack of skill. Conversely, the highly skilled individuals doubt their competence, simply because they assume that if it's easy for them, it must be easy for everyone else too. The Dunning-Kruger effect is not about being arrogant or humble. It's about the distortion of self-perception and the misjudgment of one's abilities. It's a silent saboteur of personal growth and development. And it's not selective either. It can affect anyone, regardless of their level of intelligence or experience. So, if you've ever found yourself feeling like the smartest person in the room, only to later realize you might have been out of your depth, you've experienced the Dunning-Kruger effect. And if you've ever doubted your abilities, despite evidence of your competence, that's also the Dunning-Kruger effect at work. So, that's the Dunning-Kruger effect in a nutshell. A cognitive bias affecting our perception of our own competence. It's a psychological sleight of hand, making us believe we're better or worse than we truly are. But what causes this effect? And how does it impact our lives and interactions? Let's delve into it. At the heart of the Dunning-Kruger effect is an individual's inability to accurately gauge their own competence or performance. This leads to a fascinating paradox. Those with less competence, due to their lack of self-awareness, overestimate their abilities, while those with more competence, ironically, underestimate their own abilities. This happens because less competent individuals often lack the critical skills needed to identify their own mistakes and shortcomings. They live in a blissful state of ignorance, unaware of what they don't know. This lack of self-awareness creates an inflated sense of confidence and ability. On the other hand, more competent individuals tend to be more self-aware. They recognize their own flaws and are cognizant of how much they still have to learn. This awareness, while beneficial in many ways, may also lead to a sense of doubt and self-criticism, causing them to underestimate their own abilities. So how does this impact our lives and interactions? The Dunning-Kruger effect can have significant implications on both personal and professional levels. In terms of personal growth, the effect can stifle our motivation to learn and improve. After all, why would we strive to learn more if we already believe we're experts? In terms of interactions with others, the Dunning-Kruger effect can hinder effective communication and cooperation. Overconfidence can lead to dismissive attitudes or a failure to listen to others' ideas. Meanwhile, underconfidence can prevent competent individuals from voicing their valuable insights. The Dunning-Kruger effect can also impact our ability to make informed decisions. When we overestimate our knowledge or expertise, we may take unnecessary risks or make unwise decisions without realizing our limitations. Conversely, when we underestimate our abilities, we may shy away from opportunities for growth and advancement. So the Dunning-Kruger effect can significantly affect our motivation to learn and cooperate with others. It serves as a reminder of the importance of self-awareness and the willingness to question our own understanding and abilities. As we continue to explore the Dunning-Kruger effect, you'll discover ways to overcome it and foster a more realistic self-perception. Stay tuned. Now let's delve into some real-life examples of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Imagine you're at a trivia night. There's always that one person who is overly confident, shouting out answers, convinced they're right, only to be frequently wrong. This is a classic example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. They are confident because they don't know enough about the subject to understand how little they actually know. Then, there's the workplace. You might have a colleague who's always ready to take on tasks beyond their skill set, thinking they can handle it with ease. But their performance never quite matches up to their confidence. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect. a mismatch between perceived and actual competence. Let's consider another example. Picture a person who just started learning a new language. They've learned a few phrases and suddenly they think they're practically fluent. They're falling prey to the Dunning-Kruger effect. The initial rush of learning gives a false sense of expertise, but they're not yet aware of the vast complexities of the language. On the flip side, there are competent individuals who underestimate their abilities. A seasoned professional might feel they are just average in their field, unaware that their skills far surpass those of their peers. They see the depth and breadth of what they don't know, and it makes them feel less competent. Even in the realm of social issues, someone with a simplistic understanding of a complex problem might feel they have all the answers, while those who have studied the issue in depth understand the complexities and are more hesitant to propose simple solutions. This too is the Dunning-Kruger effect at play. In each of these instances, the less competent individuals overestimate their abilities, while the more competent individuals underestimate theirs. This phenomenon is not limited to any one area of life. It can show up anywhere there's a skill to be learned or a problem to be solved. As you can see, the Dunning-Kruger effect can manifest in many situations, often without us even realizing it. So, we've identified the problem, but how do we overcome the Dunning-Kruger effect? The task isn't as daunting as it may seem. There are practical strategies we can employ to keep our feet firmly on the ground of self-awareness and humility. Let's delve into some of these strategies. Firstly, we need to cultivate a culture of curiosity and continuous learning. The more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. This thought keeps our egos in check and helps us maintain a realistic perspective on our abilities. Next, we must embrace the power of feedback. Feedback, both positive and negative, is a mirror that reflects our strengths and weaknesses. It can be difficult to accept criticism, but it is through this process that we grow and improve. Don't shy away from it. Instead, seek it actively and apply it constructively. In addition to accepting feedback, we should also practice giving it. When we take the time to provide thoughtful, constructive feedback to others, we not only help them grow, but it also reinforces our understanding of what competence truly looks like. Furthermore, we must learn to appreciate the abilities and accomplishments of others. By doing so, we not only foster a positive environment, but it also serves as a reminder that everyone has something valuable to contribute, and there's always something new to learn. Lastly, it's important to practice humility. Acknowledge that it's okay not to know everything. It's okay to make mistakes. What's important is that we learn from these experiences and continue to grow. Overcoming the Dunning-Kruger effect isn't about downplaying our abilities or achievements. It's about having a clear, realistic understanding of our skills and knowledge and continuously striving for improvement. Remember, acknowledging our shortcomings and learning from others are critical steps to overcoming the Dunning-Kruger effect. So let's keep learning, stay humble, and embrace the journey of self-improvement. So what have we learned about the Dunning-Kruger effect? Let's recap. The Dunning-Kruger effect is an intriguing psychological phenomenon where individuals with lower competence often overestimate their abilities, while those with higher competence tend to underestimate theirs. This was named after the psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger, who first brought this paradox to light. The root cause of the Dunning-Kruger effect lies in an individual's ability, or rather inability, to objectively evaluate their own competence. This often leads to a distorted self-perception where less competent individuals fail to recognize their limitations, resulting in an inflated sense of self-confidence. On the flip side, more competent individuals, aware of their shortcomings, may feel less capable than they actually are. The implications of this effect are far-reaching. It can lead to a lack of motivation to learn and grow, and hinder effective cooperation and communication. It's like being trapped in a cognitive blind spot, where our perception of ourselves doesn't align with reality. But there's hope. Overcoming the Dunning-Kruger effect is not an insurmountable task. It involves fostering a sense of self-awareness and humility. For those who tend to overestimate their abilities, it's about acknowledging gaps in knowledge and skills and embracing a mindset of continuous learning. For those who underestimate their strengths, it's about recognizing and appreciating their capabilities and being open to sharing their knowledge with others. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about understanding our own imperfections and using that awareness to improve, to grow. The journey to overcoming the Dunning-Kruger effect is a journey of self-discovery and self-improvement. In the end, isn't that what we all strive for? To be the best versions of ourselves, to learn, to grow, and to contribute positively to the world around us. The Dunning-Kruger effect is just one of the many fascinating aspects of human psychology that can help us on this journey. Thanks for joining me in this exploration of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. See you in the next video.